I am degreed in Black Studies. I
Mm-hmm.
have a degree in African American Studies at Rutgers University. Shout out to Rutgers. I'm still paying off my student loans for that degree. I had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for that degree. Majoring in African American Studies changed my life
Mm.
completely. Part of the reasons why I was so disinvested in my community when I was a young boy was because I didn't understand civics.
Mm.
I didn't understand history. I didn't understand the contributions of people who looked like me, from Frederick Douglass, people who looked like me, lived like me, breathed like me, from Frederick Douglass to Alan Locke, a name y'all may not know, to Langston Hughes, to James Baldwin,
Mm.
to Audre Lorde, and I can go on forever. So it restored my faith in America. It truly did. It taught me the ugliness and the resilience of this country. And when you take that away from, when you don't even give that to young people, it's no wonder, and I always say this, white supremacy is solidified in the schools.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the daughters of the Confederacy knew that in this whole thing called the lost cause. They knew this. They knew how powerful white supremacy manifests in this thing called education. So when it comes to Florida, when it comes to Governor Ron DeSantis, we saw this coming. There's this thing called the Stop Woke Act, right? The Don't Say Gay bill. It's all interconnected. And the sad thing is, Reese, is that Governor Ron DeSantis knows the buzzwords to hit. He
Oh
knew if
yeah.
he said this term like queer theory, that some black folks would fall for it. He knew
Mm.
that. He knew that if he said that. Now, he didn't say in his press conference, reparations was also rejected in this AP African American Studies course. There was, I think, 6 points, but he made sure to say queer because he
Mm.
knew
Mm-mm.
that would play on issues that all communities have when it comes to LGBT people.
Mm-hmm.
So the 79 page, the 79-page course description has been released via NBC News. I couldn't wait to see it because this is what I've been talking about. Like, I want to see this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what it looks like. I want to know exactly what they are saying it lacks educational value. Shout out to NBC News for finding it and releasing it. 79 pages.
Mm.
DeSantis says that it was blocked because queer theory was mentioned and abolishing prisons. All right? I went through 79 pages. Queer is mentioned twice.
Mm.
Twice in one sentence. And it's not even called queer theory. You know, they love putting that theory word on it because it makes you feel like critical race theory. Theory, theory, theory.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read you the one sentence where it mentions queer. Not queer theory, but queer. And I hope somebody points this out when they challenge him because the words he uses, it's very important. First of all, I
Right.
never even heard of queer theory. I'm not even, I don't know. I mean, I'm not,
That's
whatever.
news to me.
But, right. But here's what it said on page 23. Black Queer Studies. This topic explores the concept of the queer of color critique grounded in black feminism and intersectionality and as a black studies lens that shifts sexuality studies toward racial analysis. That's the one time it's mentioned. The one time it's mentioned. Prison is mentioned once
Mm.
because he was so outraged about it's calling for the abolition, ending prisons. And then you put the line in there, and I'm sure black people don't want that. This is on page 24. Incarceration and abolition. This topic explores the long history of black incarceration from the 13th Amendment to the present and the influence of 19th century policies on the prison industrial complex. Now, it doesn't say this topic advocates for the end of prisons.
Right.
And Reese, and I believe you feel the same way. I do the Exonerated series every single Wednesday. I am not for the abolition of prisons. And most of
Mhm.
the exonerees who I interview, I don't think I've ever interviewed one who have said we need to abolish prisons.
Right.
So,
Right.
whatever. And, when you learn about African American studies, again, I'm degreed in it.
Mhm.
I took a black philosophy course.
Mm.
I took it was called Blacks in the Labor Movement course. Shout out to my professor at Rutgers. He's no longer there. He moved on, but Dr. Zain Abdullah, I believe he's now at Temple.
Mm.
You talk about all types of theories. Again, theory wasn't in the queer part, but if you want to use that term for lack of a better
Right.
argument, we studied everybody from Booker T. Washington to Angela Davis to, hold on, even Clarence Thomas. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did study that.
Yeah.
Sure did. For folks who think that we studied that, it is egregious that they want to take an optional AP course away. Optional, optional, optional AP course away from young people. It's not a required course. Then, lastly, Reese, did you know in the AP US history course, gay is in there?
Mm.
It talks about gay folks. It
Okay.
literally says that in the description.
Yeah.
So why aren't you banning? Why aren't you restricting the U.S.? And gay is not even mentioned. GAY ain't even mentioned in the African American Studies course. Ain't no gay. I didn't see gay. I didn't see lesbian. I didn't see transgender.
Don't say gay.
Hey, what'd you say? Don't say
Don't
gay.
say gay.
GAY is literally in the AP U.S. history course in Florida. It's there.
Mm.
Why? Oh,
Mhm.
y'all don't want to ban the quote unquote U.S. history course. Y'all don't want to ban that. I see. So you found a way to ban this thing, and now they're going to have to revise it, and they'll take out any mention of queer. I guess they'll delete the incarceration and abolition topic, which really is an important discussion because, as we all know, with the 13th Amendment, slavery was abolished, but then it literally said, with the exception of, I'm paraphrasing here, basically locking you up.
Yeah.
So, although I'm not an abolitionist, there is an important conversation in the history of black people with that 13th Amendment ratified in December 1865 on why there are people who are abolitionists, and they call for an amendment of the 13th Amendment. But here's where we are. And shame on anybody. I've seen so many comments from people who look like us, Reese. Well, queer shouldn't be in there. See, it is indoctrination. They try. No, no, no. It's a day. Y'all sound like white folks who fall for the Southern strategy.
Mhm.
Well, you're falling for the gaslighting.
Yes.
Falling for the gaslighting. And then in a next post, you'll quote James Baldwin. Or you'll show an image of Audre Lorde. So here's where we are. And it's so shameful to me. It's so despicable to me that this is the one. And I bet you, I haven't seen this yet. I bet you in the AP European history course, gay folks are mentioned too.
Oh yeah.
It is. So I want y'all to know this ain't about gay, ain't about queer, it ain't about abolition, the ending of prisons. It's about black. BLACK. Black,
Mhm.
black, black. That's all that it's about. Please don't fall for it. Reese?
And ain't that what people be wanting? It don't say black. It don't say black. It don't count. It's got to say black, 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 black. Look at what the Asians got. Look what the gays got. Where's the black shit at? Well, this is the black shit that everybody be wanting. So come on. Where's the energy for the black shit? The black, black, blackity, black, black, black shit that everybody wants in neon. Come on. And what's crazy about this is that the College Board now is revising the curriculum of this course. Now they say, oh, it's been in work. Florida, DeSantis says, no, it's in response to this. But the point of it is that even what these crazy ass Republicans are doing in these red states, because Florida's a red state now, and Texas is a red state, has a national impact on it. And that means that it's being watered down because you have to kowtow to the lowest IQ, lowest intellectually curious people, which is these right-wing extremist Republicans. That's what all of our stuff got to get dumbed down for. And I think that's just crazy, and it's appalling, and it's dangerous. And I don't know how you can talk about the importance of the Black experience and how that shouldn't be marginalized, how that shouldn't be erased, and simultaneously want to erase those within the Black community who are queer. We have to keep the same energy. We have to do the work even amongst ourselves, and how we want to gatekeep what can be examined under the lens of blackity, black, 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 and what needs to be swept under the rug, what needs to be pushed to the side. So, I mean, I think a lot of people got to check themselves in this situation, but obviously the main culprit, the villain in this situation is Ron DeSantis. And unfortunately, because he just won re-election handily, Abbott just won re-election handily, Kemp just won re-election handily, these folks are emboldened to do this. And they're trying to position themselves for what they believe is going to be a national run. I think this flap 100% dooms Ron DeSantis. I will stand on that in terms of any kind of chance that he has of capturing the Electoral College. I don't think he's going to be the nominee, but this is something that it's very easy to say he's anti-Black, he's racist. It's very easy to say that. And yes, there might be some people that say, well, he was just saying the queer stuff, and that might knock a few people off. But the reality is, this is the kind of really easy thing it is to say, like, this is a huge, giant red Confederate flag almost, waving about how racist and anti-Black he is. So I think it's very serious. Even if you're not in Florida, it's very serious. And then, as I mentioned last week, the implications is not just a matter of, people going elsewhere to get this education. People are saying, oh, well, here's a reading list and here's other things that you can do to supplement the lack of education in Florida. It's not just about that. It's about that courses or AP courses are strategically there to get people additional grade points and additional college credits. And so there is an actual tangible benefit that you have to taking a course, particularly if it's African American history, but you have an actual tangible benefit for that coursework in terms of your appeal to colleges and in terms of how much less money you got to come out the pocket to pay for college. So that's also part of it. And I don't want that to get lost in the equation either.
It's funny. I mean, you would think with just the mention of queer theory or queer whatever, they're thinking it's going to be like a history of sodomy. Like that's how terrified they are of it. They think, because when they think of LGBT folks, they only think of sex. They only think below. They can't think above the groin. They don't understand how James Baldwin's identities intersected. They don't understand the reason why Bayard Rustin was damn near erased from history is because he was gay and he was targeted. He was targeted by racists like Strom Thurmond. I mean, he was also targeted by some folks in his own community.